Steubenville won the toss. They deferred, so they'll get the ball second half.
And Stephen Rose, one of the biggest kickers you're ever going to see, at 6'6", 260. We had another big kicker last week, and he's going to be hitting it deep for Max Colliner and Mitchell Anderson, back deep for the Crusaders. So Stephen Rose ready to give this football a wallop, and we're underway. And it's going to be a line drive to Mitchell Anderson. And he brings it across the 30 out to the 32-yard line, where the Crusaders will operate first down and 10.
Middle return on, and they actually had a nice seam there and some good blocking, and really an ankle tackle saved that from being an even bigger return. Good field position to start out for the Crusaders.
And special teams can also play a big, big part in this football game. Kyle McBride and Joey Rhodes, you're going to see both quarterbacks in tonight's game as you take a look at the senior. And there's the defense. No surprise. Big Red, that's what they're known for. Angelo Magnone, the senior at 6'2", 225, who comes in tonight with 45 tackles there defensively for Big Red.
And there you see the offensive lineup. Kyle McBride will be the starter. We will see Joey Rhodes. McBride more of a throwing quarterback. Salter, the big running back. Mitchell Anderson, who returned that kickoff very nicely. A nice line that's played together and really has some cohesiveness to them.
Loss of 2 on that first snap from scrimmage. Now with the eye and trying to bounce it outside as he gets away from Stephen Davis and runs it onto that far side is Max Colliner, the sophomore at 5'7", 140, so trying to take him wide.
You look at Steubenville D, we saw Magnone with a nice penetration, making that tackle early. Good front four, a lot of sacks, 22 sacks on the year. Linebackers very aggressive. They also play running backs in the secondary is very experienced.
Line to make will be the 42, third down and 6. Here comes the rush, good pass, tied in, complete, right in the middle of the field. Mike Grondriest, the senior at 6 feet, 205 pounds. They like this tight end out of the formation, and he was able to get there in the open part of the middle of the field.
Watch McBride. Roland has to set up and throw back against the grain. A nice big target, hits him, and a good tackle in the secondary for Big Red by Brandon Canestrano. But a first down.
Very important series here. Working it out the outside. Salter with a flag down and nowhere to go. Hemmed in, both Max Colliner
flag
and
comes
a lot
in
of
late.
And now another flag as well.
And I think that second one's going to be a personal foul. Somebody hit a runner back earlier. And so we got a draft coming in.
That's right. Well, the indication was holding on the Crusaders and then a dead ball personal foul on Steubenville. So what you do here, that's not offsetting penalties because one's a dead ball. You're going to mark off the penalty against the Crusaders, mark that off, and then on that hold, and then you're going to come back and mark the penalty on the personal foul. But what this does, it doesn't matter where the ball's going to be placed. Since it was a personal foul, that's an automatic first down.
And it's going to give them an extra couple of yards because one's a 10-yard penalty, one's a 15-yard penalty. And it will absolutely drive Coach Suckish crazy because you stopped the play, you had a big negative play, and you let them off the hook.
Well, here's something that you don't see every day in football. You got a first down and 8. The only time you see that's goal. And you had an exchange problem and a line of scrimmage penalty as well.
Not much you can do with that. Again, that has to do with the slick ball.
Let's take this timeout. No score, opening drive for the Crusaders. Kleinfelder Stadium here in Canton, Ohio, as you take a look at Canton Central Catholic on first down and 13. Play fake looking to throw. Pressure. Steps up in the pocket. McBride's pass. Too tall for everybody.
They were coming with a blitz, and the Crusaders did a nice job of picking it up, and McBride just kind of didn't have enough time to set. Blitz is picked up in the middle. It was a middle blitz. It's picked up right there by Salter, actually, and then another guard comes out and picks it off, but just airmails the throw. Could have slipped out of his hand. It just kind of went up.
Good point. Stephen Davis back there defensively, or Steve Davis. Stephen Davis runs the football for the Carolina Panthers, doesn't he?
Yeah, does pretty well.
Second down at 13 and a pro set eye. Another play fake, big rush coming, backside pressure, look out. Draylon Free brings the rush. Is that intercepted or was he out of bounds? And they're going to call it an interception. Matt Bellardine. They're on that far sideline. Let's take a look.
And again, they're coming with the blitz, and they kind of destroy the protection there. And McBride forced to throw it a little bit early, and a nice job by Bellardine sliding and keeping the leg in. Good interception.
Yep. Hit his knees, both knees, inside of that far sideline. So the Crusaders had something going, but Big Red steps up defensively, and now they'll go to work on their first offensive possession. Collars fakes the give, rolls, and his first attempt incomplete as he was looking for Benjamin, the fullback, out of the backfield.
Just a little bootleg trying to get the ball to the fullback in some open space, and just couldn't connect there.
This is a team that likes to run the ball, and you got to get it done. And all of these guys, the running backs, both Presley and Parrish, and the quarterback as well. But these are the guys that get it done.
Yeah, up front, and a lot of guys playing both ways. A couple guys playing both ways, but they do a nice job up front. They've run the ball very effectively.
This time on the ISO, there's a little bit of running room, and shaking off one tackle is Jeremy Presley, who's been a little bit banged up this year, averaging 5.7 yards a carry, comes in with 8 TDs.
Yeah, he missed a couple games early in the year, and McGee, who you see coming in to spell him, got some valuable experience. Sometimes a situation like that can really help.
Here's a key for this ball game, and I think it's got to be the front seven for Canton Central Catholic.
Yeah, the defense, you really need to destroy that blocking scheme running the ball that Big Red has and is very effective doing.
They ran into his own man, and he's going to get the first down, but I mean just barely. Tamawi McGee, the junior, at 6 feet 185. Glad to have you with us on this cool, rainy night in Canton, Ohio. And it's Steubenville that's going to run. Now, they will throw the ball too, okay, but they want to establish that running game, control the clock.
George Tabron, middle linebacker, kind of blew that run up before it could get going very well. Got nice penetration and really turned it inside. Number 45, you saw him, a nice play for the Crusaders.
64% passer is Zach Caleras. But like we said, they like to establish the run, and the Crusaders knew it. And they brought in a couple of guys, Andrew Weber and company. Also George Tabron there defensively.
We've called his name very often here. The middle linebacker seems to have a nice nose for the ball. And nice big kid, and has been in on a couple of tackles.
Andrew Weber, 5'9", 185. George Tabron, 6'3", 210. Second down and 10. Clock running just inside of 8 minutes. No score. Steubenville got this possession via an interception after the Crusaders got one or two first down. Faked the shovel pass, well defense, pressure backside, and still on his feet, but then finally all the guys in those green jerseys able to corral Zach Caleras, who did showed some athleticism. He could have been sacked for 5 additional yards.
Yeah, the thing that you like about this from a defensive standpoint, though, is look at the swarming nature of it. Coming out on the outside, Ben Willis, and also Brent Crawford, Tabron there, Weber there. They're all pursuing, and count the green jerseys. 7 of them get back to the quarterback. It's the type of defensive effort you're going to need against Big Red.
Well, now the number 1 team in the ONN-JJ Huddle Power Poll is looking at a possession down, 3rd down and 11. Caleras, you expect him to throw here. He's thrown 10 TDs, only 1 interception. He's got an arm, but he's flushed again, and he's not going to get away.
George Tabron again, the middle linebacker, is all over the place in the early going, and his running mate Andrew Weber has been right with him. That's the middle of that defense that we said really needs to come up, at least on the first possession they have. Take a look. Nice penetration right here. That's Tabron, the middle linebacker, coming, flushed inside.
Crawford.
Yep, Crawford, and then Weber's there as well. Also credit Fondrist. The whole linebacking core was in the backfield.
Stephen Rose to hit this punt. Johnson and Andersey back deep. And getting away momentarily is Matt Johnson, and that's when they'll operate first down and 10. When we come back, no score here in Canton. Welcome back, everybody, and toss play right side. Trying to turn the corner and picking up about 3 or 4 yards is Charles Salter, the senior at 5'9", 150. This team won the state title back in 2000, and this has been a solid program, no doubt about that. You know, they're probably thinking, well, you know, probably another year or two from going deep and making it into the championships, but, you never know. We had some huge upsets last year in the semis and in all kinds of different divisions. 2nd down and 6. Now Big Red stacks up the line of scrimmage. Are they coming? Yes, they do. And it's a run blitz, and yep, nowhere to go. They timed that beautifully on the snap. Coming in first, Demetrius Benjamin, the senior at 5'11", 212, who actually leads the team in tackles with 51 and also has 3 sacks on the season.
Watch the penetration, and Magnone again kind of took his man and just pushed him into the backfield and then stood up and tripped the ball carrier too. And Magnone, Angelo Magnone, from his defensive tackle position, is somebody that we've called a lot in the early going for Big Red on defense.
Crusaders have a couple of first downs in the first quarter. Now they need 7 yards. The line to make will be the Steubenville 49, and they cause the Crusaders to jump. Flag down. They don't stop the play. They allow it to come, or continue rather, and we'll have to see what the flag is all about. I do believe Steubenville could have been in the neutral zone, but they're pointing at the Crusaders jump.
Draylon Pree got back there and got the sack, but that play was kind of, everybody was going in a different direction.
Illegal motion on Canton Central Catholic.
And they decline it. So they're marking the loss. So the sack by Pree will stand, and it will be 4th and long.
You know you have one of the best traditions in the state when your fans go on a long trip with you. The Steubenville fans almost have the far side bleacher filled to capacity. Big Red 8-0, 28 regular season win streak. But Canton Central Catholic has shown pretty good thus far. Brent Crawford, his punt for the first time tonight. It's rolling and picked up at the 20. Matt Bellardine, and a flag down.
Yeah, we're going to get a block in the back. So that now we're going to get a couple more flags, but and a little extracurricular going on there as well.
Well, more times than not, it's a block in the back, or sometimes you get a hold.
There was a block in the back right about the 20-yard line, but then we got a late flag too. We may have 2 penalties again. That's, I think, what they're trying to sort out.
Again, no score. Both teams have had a couple of possessions, and they've been playing the middle of the field pretty much. And neither team really establishing anything or any threat here in the first quarter. As we get to our indication, block in the back on Steubenville. And that's going to mark the football back. Now it's time for deep in their own territory. Big Red, Coach Reno Suckich. Everybody just calls him Coach Reno.
Yeah, the last name has a lot of consonants and a lot of vowels.
And a lot of areas.
A lot of ways. Coach Reno works well.
Absolutely. Oh, nice cutback, and in the middle of the field, Jeremy Presley. We told you, coming back from an injury, 8 TDs, averaging just under 6 yards a carry. Now, Tamawik McGee, you'll also see him. He's a junior that has 541 yards. As you take a look at
that's what Presley sees, and that's a big hole. If you're a running back, you like seeing that much open space. And the Crusaders' defense did a nice job. It was only a 4-yard gain. That looked like the defense really parted there, but a nice job of recovering by the linebackers.
Twin receivers to the far side. Long count by Caleres. Again on the ISO. Oh, I was tripped up for a second and
nice
was
hit.
able to keep his balance. But finally, John Friedman, the junior, at 5'7", came in and finished him out.
Nice job of coming up and run support by Friedman, because if he doesn't come up and stop that, that's going to go out by the first down marker. And he came up and finished him off nicely.
Yeah, you were taking a look at Ralph Petrella, one of the offensive linemen. He was at 6'2", 262. And Big Red not establishing the line of scrimmage as well as they thought coming into this one, probably. 3rd down and 4. And working out of the gun now. Caleres with Parrish on the left side and Presley on the right side. And he looks to throw. Middle of the field. Intercepted! Matt Johnson inside the 10, and Johnson brings the Crusaders to business in the first quarter with a first down and goal at the 8 after a fine interception by Matt Johnson.
Matt Johnson just sat back there from his cornerback position and read this play. Take a look at it from Caleres' point of view. He's trying to hit a back out to the right, overshoots him, and Johnson heads up, just plays the ball, and comes right to him and makes the play.
With an I formation. This is Joey Rhodes, the second quarterback, as he turns and hands off, but we do have a flag on the field again.
And Rhodes is a sophomore, and they've really waited to play him till later in the year just to get him a little bit more used to it. He brings a different dimension. He's an option quarterback. He's a good athlete. He runs the ball very effectively.
Procedure penalty. Oh, that hurts you when you get, in a game like this, you want to capitalize on turnovers. And I think JJ hit that in our pregame a little bit as you take a look at Lo Kleinfelder.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well when the stadium you play in is named after you while you're still coaching. And he also has a road named after him that the stadium goes around. So that's kind of the ultimate in respect.
Yeah, no doubt. The winningest coach in high school football in the country down in Summerville, South Carolina, Coach John McKissick. Still coaching in 2005, and that stadium named after him. A lot of people say, well, shouldn't they wait till he retires? Hey, no way. After the penalty, run the option. There's a good pitch on this near boundary, but well defensed as Big Red able to stretch it out and not being able to turn the corner was Salter.
Yeah, Canstrero came up and really did a nice job of stringing this out. And right here is Canstrero kind of turns it back in and makes the play. The secondary did a nice job of playing it outside and pushing it back in. You want to funnel that in.
Well, the defensive end defensively is the key on the option. Draylon Free really forced that play as he got pressure before the pitch. Second down and goal. Rhodes rolling. And Brent Crawford can't turn the corner. So Big Red defensively has stepped up after Canton Central Catholic had a first down and goal at the 8.
Real nice play by Davis that time, but take a look. There's the pitch. And really, he needs to make Pre come and respect him a little bit more. I think if Rhodes had that to do over again, he'd have cut that up and really tried to turn up. As Pre didn't even respect his option. He played the pitch instead of playing the quarterback.
So Coach Kleinfelder continues with his option quarterback, Joey Rhodes. Is he going to throw here? Third down and goal. And now you may have a delay of game. Or an official's timeout for something.
I think they're attending to a helmet over on the Steubenville side, an equipment issue.
Well, we'll take a timeout. 1:13 left, and the Crusaders still knocking on the door. They have third down and goal from the 8 when we return here to Canton, Ohio. Two receivers to the bottom of your screen on third down and goal. Fake the handoff, Rhodes. And that pass is knocked back into his face as Big Red has forced a fourth down. And Lo Kleinfelder probably going to say, hey, well, let's get Kyle McBride in here and see if we can't get some points on the board.
Yeah, McGee got great penetration there. You see Rhodes just wants to set up, but McGee breaks free there and just hits him before he can even get set up.
Well, that was close to being a
fumble. Yeah.
Now, if that was college football, folks, we'd be taking a look at that for about 2 minutes from all kinds of different angles. Timeout on the field. No, actually, the first quarter clock getting ready. Nope, it is a timeout. I'm sorry. So timeout on the field as Lo Kleinfelder wants to talk things over. It's an annual tradition that plays out October 30th at noon. Ohio's best high school football teams find out live on ONN who they'll play in the postseason. Join us to watch the brackets and the pairings and the announcements live. Teams, players, coaches, and fans, hey, you're all invited. Live from Imke Honda off of Sawmill Road in Columbus. Food, football, and fun. Dave, you may even be there for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Red will be seeing where their first opponent will be. They have pretty much clinched, and they're close to clinching home field. So they're making their plans.
There's Kyle McBride. From the far hash, good pass. The kick is up and through. So the Crusaders capitalize on the interception, and they strike first blood here in Canton, Ohio, on top 3-0. Well, you know, Big Red did what it had to do, Dave Bacon, defensively. When you give up a first down and goal at the 8, one penalty on the Crusaders pushed them back, but they forced a field goal. So you got to say Steubenville came out of there with a win, too.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that you got points on the board. You turn the turnover into points. That's big.
After every Ohio State game, turn to O&N for Buckeye Blitz Post-Game Live, the only place across the state to see and hear Coach Tressel's press conference live each week. Post-Game Live, only on O&N.
And the other thing is when you're playing a team that's, you know, ranked number 1 in the state in their division, and it's a division higher than yours, the longer that you have the lead or that you stay in the game, the more everybody on that sideline is thinking, hey, you know what, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this.
Depending on where the brackets and the pairings are, and again, that's going to be unveiled on O&N October 30th, and join us at Empke. I wonder if Steubenville and there's, well, I'll get to that later because there's a couple of teams that I think can give them a scare.
Oh, yeah. Division III is pretty well loaded across
from top
the state.
to bottom.
Yeah.
That's right. So after hitting the 3 points, McBride gets the football a wallop, and Maurice Bogard on the run at the 10. Does he have a seam? No. Good special team stop there. And I believe that was Mike Frondries. Yep. So now Steubenville will go back to work and still trying to find the dominance on the line of scrimmage. They want to establish the run, and credit the Crusaders defensively. Have been able to shut that running game down, and Claris, when he went to the air, was picked off by Matt Johnson. Twins to the left. For Claris, how will he respond? That's only his second interception of the year. Now you do a little reverse with Bogart, and he's got running room. It's a foot race. He's got 4 guys to beat, and they're not going to get him. Say goodbye. Maurice Bogart takes it to the house for Big Red.
That's responding pretty well.
Yeah.
And that's a great call because what they saw was the defense was over pursuing. They faked the little pitch and the run, and then they came right back around, and that defense had lost contain, and he got through that seam, that initial seam, and boy, he was just gone.
Take another look. Just a great fake, as you mentioned, and the offensive line did what it needed to do. How about the blocks that they got here on this near side to push the guys in green out of the way?
And the option fake really drew the linebackers in the secondary, that second line of defense, to the other side of the field.
Stephen Rose for the point after, and it's up and through. So Big Red now on the board, and our new score 7-3 as we are inside of 1 minute left in the first quarter.
And that's what good teams do. When they're pushed, they respond. And there aren't many better ways to respond than with a 79-yard touchdown run.
Don't miss the next issue of Ohio High Magazine, the best insight into high school sports in the Buckeye State. Order your subscription today at jjhuddle.com. He's quick.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not only did he outrun the guys, but
he was
gaining.
Yeah, he was gaining. He was lengthening his lead.
So now, see how the Crusaders respond. After this kickoff, the clock will stop, and we'll probably have one play. And that's how we'll probably end the first quarter. But there's no doubt the Crusaders did come to play, and it just, sometimes when you over pursue, and other teams take advantage of that.
Yep. You want your defense to be aggressive.
And that goes off the side of his foot. No time off the clock, and you'll scrimmage from the 35.
That's just a really good call by the offensive coaches for Big Red. I mean, what they did is they saw what we saw, how the Crusaders were flying to the ball, and they found a way to exploit it.
When we get a chance, we would like to maybe see that O&N JJ Huddle Power Poll for Division III, because I'd like to talk about a couple of teams in there So stick around because we're gonna see who Steubenville may face. But again, the brackets will be unveiled on O&N October 30th. First down and 10. And you stick with Joey Rhodes. And he's the option guy, although he turns and hands off. And there's a good run for about 10 yards.
Yeah, the fullback, Marcelo Natal.
Natali, the sophomore?
Yeah. Yep. A nice job getting it right through there. A quick opening. He got through the hole quick and, picked up a first down. And again, they like Rhodes. Rhodes is only a sophomore. They wanted to bring him along slowly. They feel he's ready to run the option here.
Deep pitch there as he fakes the belly. Salter has the corner, and he has a first down as he picks up 11 or 12 yards.
And he did a much better job that time of making the defense play him as the quarterback, draw that defense to him so Salter and the running backs, have a leg up and don't have to contend with an extra defender or two.
As you take a look at his numbers.
See, right here, he makes the defensive end play him instead of the running back, and that opens up the lane there for the running back and lets him get outside.
Ooh, good block by Mitchell Anderson over there on that far side as well. And that should do it for quarter number one. It's been a dandy. Steubenville on top, 7-3, but the Crusaders here on their home field, hey, they came to play. Welcome back to Canton, Ohio, everybody. They call Steubenville the Big Red. Well, the Crusaders, well, you might as well call them the Big Green. Dressed in green with the white slacks, Steubenville with the black slacks and the red jersey. There is the Division III power poll, and there's a couple teams in there that could be. Licking Valley, that's a team that we'll see next week. Could give them a test.
Yeah, Licking Valley and New Albany, two teams 8-0 on the year. They're 2-4 in the Division III Power Poll. That's who we'll have next week. The other team that's very good that I've seen a couple times is Lake Catholic, 7-1. They lost last week to Padua, and what happened is the team scored with 6 seconds left. Instead of kicking the extra point to go for the tie, they went for 2, and they won it. And that's how they got their loss. But that'll be a real nice matchup. There's a lot of good teams in Division.
And the head coach is always everybody's best friend when you make that call and you make it happen, right?
Yep, absolutely. If it doesn't work, they want to run you out of school.
Rhodes, again, a deep pitch. Salter, this time nowhere to go. Coming back, Draylon Free, who's played a solid first half for Big Red. There defensively from his defensive end position.
And Draylon Free has played the option extremely well. He's not only forcing the pitch, he's getting back in on the play as well.
So now it's going to be a third down, and let's call it 8. The line to make will be the red, 33. Single receiver to the left, Mitchell Anderson. The single receiver, Matt Johnson, to the right, as they will scrimmage with the pro set I. The linebackers, do they come? No. Looking to throw, Joey Rhodes, going big time, deep and well defensed, as Caleras, who's also the quarterback playing both ways, had the deep coverage on Mitchell Anderson.
Steve Davis was there as well, and what this is, they fake that and they want people to buy into the option attack, that belly play, but credit the safeties, both Davis and Caleras stayed at home and were there and didn't buy into it, and that's why that deep throw did not work.
That's what you call your basic 4-3 and then 2 back, cover 2 defense. Crawford's punt, end over end, line drive, and out to the 28 or close to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Bellardine got a nice running start and actually a pretty good return as he got out to across the 30-yard line. So good field position, all things considered.
Well, Crusaders again, they got the 3 points after the interception by Anderson when they were held by Big Red, but they've only been able to get those first downs in the middle of the field. Once they get something going, it seems that Big Red defensively steps up. Now Steubenville back on the attack, first down and 10. 10:24, second quarter, Canton, Ohio. Toss. For about 4 or 5. Matt Bellardine, who also plays cornerback, so he's a guy that'll play both ways, and he'll get some snaps offensively, but primarily they'll use him as a DB. Actually, Steubenville and Coach Reno uses a lot of backs, don't they?
Yeah,
they
they
use
do.
like 8. Somebody told me once they had 8 different guys carry the ball for Big Red. I didn't know people had 8 running backs on their roster.
And now Andrew Weber lost a shoe, so he's going to come off, and he was ready to play with one shoe on, one shoe off, but
they won't allow it.
now, problem is if you get stepped on, the cleats hurt a whole lot, I'm sure.
That's why Keith Byers ran that big one against Illinois in '84. He said when my shoe came off, he split the 2 fastest guys in the Big Ten from Illinois. And he said he just didn't want his foot to get stepped on. Oh, big hole, look out. Jeremy Presley, it's a foot race. Mitchell Anderson has the angle and he outruns him, touchdown.
Again, a nice job of creating the seam, and once they get through that, the backs for Steubenville have done a nice job of outrunning the secondary for the Crusaders. It's just been speed.
Came in with 8 TDs. Now that is touchdown number 9. You talk about an offensive line given a hole to drive a truck through. How about that? And then outruns the angle of Mitchell Anderson.
Yep. Nice job by Presley.
The senior at 5'6", 175. A little bit winded after you run that far, don't you?
Yeah. Especially the cold air doesn't help either.
Right.
You're not used to it yet.
Well, big plays for Big Red in the first half. And the point after up and through. And our new score at Canton, Ohio, Steubenville 14, Canton Central 3. With 9:31 left in the first half. Let's take this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. Canton, Ohio. This game between Steubenville and Canton Central on the Army National Guard. Big game of the week. Along with Dave Bacon and Emily Moore, I'm Eric Thacker. Again, glad to have you with us each and every week through the playoffs and then, of course, all of the championships here in Stark County. This is Colner. And brings out a good return out across the 25 out to the 28-yard line. Max Colner, sophomore at 5'7", 140. Now what is Lowell Kleinfelder telling his troops? As Kyle McBride will return, is looking to throw.
That would signal it, and they really are happy with the way he throws a deep ball. The problem has been they have to give him some time to set up and the receivers to get downfield.
4-3 defense of Big Red. The linebackers don't come, but the defensive line did a good job. But still, Charles Salter has hurt that defense via the run. It's time now to find out who is one step closer to winning a 2006 Honda Civic in the Imke Honda Big Game Giveaway. Our weekly winner for October 21st is Julie Browning of Grove City. Winners get a free oil change from Imke Northwest Honda and are entered into the drawing to win the 2006 Civic before the Division I State Championship game in December. To register, look for us at the next big game on location or stop by Imke Honda on Sawmill Road in Columbus. Again, running the ball, Charles Salter, and it's going to be 3rd down and 3.
And he almost had to take a defensive back with him when he took the handoff. A nice job by Salter to turn that into a positive play. Great penetration up front, and coming on the blitz and timing it perfectly was Demetrius Benjamin. And Salter did a nice job to shake him and turn that into a gain. Could have been a loss of 4 or 5.
Breaking the huddle as you take a look at Charles Salter, the fine running back with an offset eye. The line to make the 38. Good hesitation as he allowed his block to get his man, and that's why he was able to get the first down. Good patience in the backfield.
Yeah, that's the sign of an experienced high school running back. He actually waited for the play to develop and was rewarded by being able to cut to the outside and turn this into a positive gain.
Right here, that little hesitation was all he needed right when he got the handoff.
And now Salters at 40 yards rushing on the night, and that's pretty productive. 8:03 rather to go in the first half, and he's averaging right around 4 yards a carry.
McBride looks to throw. This time the pocket's there. The pass, well defensed. I tell you, Steve Davis, the sophomore, just got his paw out there and knocked that down right at the last second.
It was, the play was open for a split second. It was delivered well, and Davis did a nice job. Watch him as he reaches around, doesn't get called for interference, and makes the play. You saw a lot of times the tendency is to put your back arm on the receiver, and that's pass interference. That'll get called occasionally. Sometimes you can hide it. He did a nice job of not making contact and breaking that play up.
Rob Hoagland, now a receiver to the top of your screen for the Crusaders. Toss it. Nice cutback, and again defensed as Angelo Magnone.
Yeah, that defensive front seven, front eight actually for the Big Red are playing a heck of a first half of football. They are making running the ball very difficult. I know we said Salters has 40 yards average and 4 yards a carry, but he is earning those yards.
You know, the weather hasn't played a factor tonight. The rain has ceased. The ball's still going to be a little bit slick, but you're playing on AstroTurf here.
Yeah, and it drains very well.
Right.
So, all things considered, it hasn't been as big of a factor as you might expect it to be.
McBride needs 9 yards. The linebackers shoot the gaps. Look out. The blitz is there, and they got him.
Our boy, Angelo Magnone again. And he is playing a whale of a game. Jeremy Presley also from his linebacking core. But, yeah, Magnone is he's been all over the field.
Yeah, Magnone and Presley both shot the gap and got the sack. So, again, the Crusaders get a first down, but then can't put enough of them together.
Tell you, defensive tackle, he is living in the backfield there, Angelo Magnone. He has played a whale of a first quarter and a half.
Crawford, again, a low kick, and this time Bellardine, not on the line fly, but gets a good block. Look out. Oh, they finally wrapped him up as he cut it inside. For a second, I thought that he could have turned the corner, but you know what? I think Big Red may have got away with a little bit of a clip. Well, as they change possessions, we'll take this timeout. 6:21 left. Quarter number 2. Steubenville on top, 14-3. They'll have the ball when we return. Welcome back, everybody. First down and 10. And the fumble. Who's got it? Still on the ground. And the Crusaders get a gift. That's 2 turnovers that Canton Central Catholic has got in this first half.
And coming up with that was Benjamin Willis. And that went way up in the air and then got kicked around a little bit. But Willis, a nice job of coming up with that.
Team leader, 5 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. Again, that was well hit. They punched that thing out of there. And then they kicked it. Now going back on offense, Kyle McBride, first down and 10 at the 22. And here's a nice run in between the tackles. Charles Salter inside the 10, and he's down at the 3.
Nice run.
Zach Caleras there to defend the goal line.
Nice run by Salters and nice timing of it. You want to, if they can get in the end zone here, it would do a lot. A lot. Just you go in and you cut the lead to 4 after everything you've been through. But look at the nice cutback here. Good job of getting through the hole, makes a man miss. Yeah, Brandon Jarrett there with a big block, and then Salters try to give some a little head and shoulders fake and gets out of bounds at the 3.
Oh, now you bring all kinds of beef in the backfield along with George Tabron. Full house. Tabron leads the way, but they knife in there and trip him up.
Good
and
penetration.
If I'm not mistaken, that is number 73. Yep, Chad Murphy got in there and tripped him up. Let's take a look.
Yeah, and just dives at the ankles and gets enough of them to tackle him. Loss of a yard.
So second down and goal. Remember in the first quarter, the Crusaders got an interception by Mitchell Anderson, or Matt Johnson rather, and first down and goal at the 8 could not get in, and now another turnover, and now a big run inside of the goal Inside of the 10, second down and goal. Stood up again, down to the 3. So what I was getting at is there's been a couple of opportunities here for the Crusaders, and like you said, Dave Bacon, they need to capitalize this one. Yeah, a field goal, yeah, that's still good, but they need a touchdown here.
Yeah, if you get down to the 3 and, you're down 11, yeah, the field goal gets you to within a score and a 2-point conversion, but if you can punch it in the end zone, it puts a whole different feel, to this game.
Crawford and Tabrin and Natale in the backfield, but then you throw and no call. And looking for interference, or trying to get one, was Mitchell Anderson as he was lobbying for a flag. And let's see, it may have been uncatchable anyway, even if there was contact. That wasn't anything really there anyway.
And Canton Central Catholic's going to talk about this. 4th and goal from the 4.
Yeah, with 4:52 minutes remaining. So let's take a look at that Division III power poll once again. We touched on it earlier. Licking Valley we're going to have next week, and New Albany second, and ranked number 2 and 4. That could be a very, very big game there, and that's going to tell a lot about the rest of the what could play out from that poll.
Yeah, it's interesting. The 5th-ranked team, Holy Name, their only loss is to Lake Catholic in a game that Lake Catholic led. Holy Name has a very, they play power football. They got a big offensive line. They like to run the ball straight ahead. Like I said, and then you always have Benedictine if they get in.
Yeah, that's right, and playing better football now.
Yep.
And they face some good opponents. Kleinfelder giving it a go. Looking to throw, McBride, incomplete, and they're turned away. So he elects not to go with the field goal. I don't question that call a second.
Nope.
Because he knew that you may not have many opportunities to get in there. He wanted the guys in green to try to get a touchdown. But this time, credit the defense. Tamari McGee giving chase on that backside as they were looking on that back line for Marcellus Natale.
Now the other thing is you want to try to get the limit Big Red, not let them pick up a field goal. You're going to get good field position, or not pick up a first down. You're going to get good field position.
The last 2 times Big Red had the football, they went big. 2 big running plays. That's their 14 points, and it's been with that man right there, Jeremy Presley.
Wow.
That is incredible. He was hit at the line of scrimmage, and then he just bounced off another one. Made another guy miss and then pushed the pile for an extra 2. But we do have a flag.
Late flag. And it's unsportsmanlike conduct against Canton Central Catholic. That's a heck of a run by Presley. And what you notice is he keeps his legs moving and just refuses to come down. And they're going to put an extra 15 yards on the end of that run, and there goes the idea of field position.
675 pounds. And if you're 5'6" at 175, that's like being 6 foot, maybe 210, 215.
Yeah, you can tell he has a low center of gravity, big legs, and for a smaller guy, he runs between the tackles pretty well. We've seen that already.
Caleras now working with 2 tight ends. 5-step drop, looks far side, one-on-one coverage, and he beats it. Stephen Davis, look out. And brought down from behind by Matt Johnson.
Yeah, Davis did just a nice job of getting behind the defense and, couldn't really find him. The defense couldn't find Davis, and a nice job of delivering the ball on time by Caleras. He gets the ball to him while the defender's still looking for him. A nice adjustment by Davis, and turns upfield.
Well, credit Matt Johnson after slipping and falling, staying with the play. A lot of times, you'll just break off your run and say, oh, well, he's gone. First down and 10. The guard pulls from the right side and leading the way for Tamari McGee, and McGee dropped at the 21.
Mitchell Anderson came up from his cornerback position and got in on the tackle.
That playing both ways, Magno. The guy that pulled there. Zach Caleras gets the play from Coach Reno. And again, working with 2 tight ends. Twins to the right and the lone tailback is still McGee. And McGee, big hole on the left side. Runs over a couple of tacklers as he's inside the 15. And now Big Red's running game beginning to wear down that defensive front of the Crusaders.
And you see why they run so much. Look at their backs. This is another one. He gets hit once, twice, and then he finally is brought down. It seems like none of their backs go down with that initial hit. And Presley, 5 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown, is in the backfield.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 3:12 remaining. Steubenville's running game working. They're on top, 14-3. Now go with an eye. One tight end as you have one of the wideouts in motion. And I tell you, the Crusaders needed that stop there.
Yeah, Steubenville has run the ball now 17 times for 178 yards, so they're averaging about 13 yards a carry. Of course, those 2 long touchdown runs pad it, but they're still running the ball extremely effectively.
And this is an offense that averages 303 yards a game, and a lot of people go, well, you know, but 211 of that is via the run and 92 of it the pass. So that tells you what they do.
Yeah, they control the clock, and their
right.
defense is extremely, extremely quick and effective.
Loss of 1 on that. Deep pitch, trying to turn the corner. Gets a good block. Look out. Presley again. Touchdown. I thought they hemmed him in, but number 30 hurts the Crusaders one more time.
And they'll add to that yards per carry, a 15-yard touchdown run. Again, he was hit and grabbed at a couple of times, and he's able to break free. Nice job of holding and drawing the defense. He breaks a tackle, then he outruns the defense.
3 touchdowns, all via the running game.
Presley's 2nd touchdown, he now has over 100 yards, 104 yards rushing.
In the first half, and Rose gets his 3rd PAT. He's hit 27 extra points this year. And our new score, 21-3. Catch the big game again Saturday morning, beginning at 9:30 a.m. It's the sports site. Then at 10, the Army National Guard big game of the week. Don't miss a play. Only on ONN, Ohio's channel for high school sports.
Gotta like that. You can see all the highlights from the weekend, and then you get to see the entire game with the big game. And I think the band is enjoying the running attack for Big Red there.
Absolutely. Now the rain
Kicking
coming
up
down
a little
again. And when you have a 21-3 lead.
Yeah. And your game is to run the ball and play defense, and you've really done that. I mean, they've had 2 turnovers, deep in their own territory, and they've only allowed 3 points. Right. That's a testament to Steubenville's defense. That's why they're the top-ranked team in Division III, and it's why the Steubenville faithful are thinking, we might be back in Stark County in 5-6 weeks.
Dave Bacon and I are going to talk about that defense in the second half. We've got numbers to share with you. Stephen Rose has kicked. And special teams, almost squirting out of there was Max Colner.
Nice play by Zane Moxley on special teams there to shut down what could have been a very, very big return. Moxley, a nice tackle.
Colner almost
he almost
had a
got
chance.
through there.
So now here comes Kyle McBride, the senior at 6'3", 195, down by 18. Will he throw? The 5-step drop, good out route, nice pitch and catch, and that's a good gain of 8 yards. And the way Mitchell Anderson brought that ball in, the way he was tackled, sometimes you get separated. Good job hanging on to the ball. That was a good stick by Zach Caleras.
So the quarterback can also hit from the defensive back position is what we saw in that play.
That's what you call the hitting QB. Second down and a long one. This one overthrown. as he was looking for Ed Roth.
And Jeremy Presley, from his linebacker position there, didn't allow McBride to follow through like he would have liked to, and that kind of sailed on him a little bit.
You know, you kind of figure on a third down and short that, you know, long one, short two. Almost a free play for you. They'll spread it out now. Twin receivers to the far side and single receiver to the near side. Salter, the lone tailback. And he's going to get it with second effort.
Yeah, that's a nice job of Salter. Salter just kind of lowered his head, knew where he wanted to go, and got there. What they tried to do is they tried to bring a receiver in motion to lead the way, out blocking Ed Roth, and Salter did most of that on his own.
The clock becomes a factor. 1:35 and counting, and Canton Central Catholic out of timeouts. The 7-step drop, working the sidelines. Very good. Mitchell Anderson. Don't try to get it all at once. Just go down the field, and the out routes have been working here on this possession.
And Anderson has done a nice job of finding the little soft spots in the zone that Steubenville's been playing.
Well, Coach Kleinfelder, if he could get a touchdown here, he can change the momentum of this game going in at halftime. 3 receivers again for McBride. Outside blitz is picked up well and incomplete, too tall.
Flag.
We got a late hit on the quarterback.
I think they're going to call pass interference. It came in late, and what happened? Their legs got tangled up. Matt Bellardine came up and tried to make the play and kind of got his legs tangled with the receiver. Right there, you see the end result of it, and pass interference, and again, that stops the clock. It moves the ball down inside, right at the 35.
Picking up yardage.
Yeah, it's big help.
Nothing better when you're trying to put a drive together to get yards with no time off the clock.
Right.
Like I said, every ball game you have somebody come up thinking your public address, don't you? Again, the blitz, and McBride alertly holds on to the football and doesn't try to force a pass, but what that does, that clock continues to roll with that tackle at the line of scrimmage on Kyle McBride.
And Magnone's going to get anotre sack.
That is a sack. I said the line of scrimmage. That's a 2-yard sack.
Draylon Pree, those two guys, Magnone the tackle, Pree the end, have really played a nice first half for Big Red.
And the out route, led Mitchell Anderson too much. So now 2nd down and 14 turns to 3rd down and 14. 3 timeouts for Steubenville. And, hey, you kind of wonder, even though you're inside of 1 minute, if the Crusaders pass here and make it incomplete, if you don't try to work the clock with 3 timeouts.
Although the way your defense is playing and the way you've been able to run the ball, last thing you want to do is turn it over
that's
and
true.
Try to.
Backside. And that was well timed.
That was Pree again. Draylon Pree has just made life pretty miserable for the Crusader quarterbacks along with Magnone.
And Steve Davis from his safety position getting it done in the secondary. Look at that.
Yeah. Almost came up with the interception. That's a heck of a play.
So now 4th down, and Canton Central Catholic is going to have to punt the football away with 50 seconds remaining. And then, like we said, let's see what Coach Reno does with 3 timeouts. Or no, they're going for it.
Yeah, they're going to go for it.
So McBride, big 4th down, going long, picked off, and that is as good as a punt.
Yep, Davis grabbed it. Actually, that's just instinct, because at that point, it was almost like it was a jump ball with him and Hoagland.
Darnell Longmire.
Yeah.
On the interception. So actually, that worked out for the Crusaders.
Just cut in front.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Longmire. Davis was in front of him.
Well, the 8 and the 9, when that 9 jersey curls up, it looks like an 8, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Steubenville native. He watches Big Red. Follows him closely. 1st down. and 10, and Coach Reno, after all that talking to his team, he's just going to take the knee.
What you do is he's coaching. I mean, it's a lot different because it's a 21-3 game. If it was a 6-3 game, he'd be a little bit more upset about that. And you know what? That's the thing. He's been around a long time. He knows exactly what he wants to do with his team, and that's an opportunity to coach.
Well, I don't even think they need to snap another play. This may take us into intermission, and in fact, they're not going to have to snap it. So just winding it down, 6 seconds left in the first half. Big running plays by Big Red, 3 big touchdowns. Jeremy Presley getting it done. The number 1 ranked team on the O&N J.J. Huddle Power Poll, 21-3 at intermission. Welcome back to Canton, Ohio, everybody. I'm Eric Thacker along with Dave Bacon, Emily Moore. We move to action at the 10-minute 17 mark in the third quarter as Steubenville has got a couple of first downs. In fact, this is their 4th first down on this possession as they open up the second half of play at the 26-yard line of the Crusaders. And Zach Caleras has ripped off about 25 yards on an option keeper. And also Tamari McGee got him down to there. McGee gets this handoff again. Look at that athleticism as he gets another first down as he picks up 12 or 13 yards.
And again, what we're seeing is the first defender from Canton Central Catholic is making a hit, but it doesn't matter which one of the backs of Steubenville is running. A little misdirection there, and you'll see he gets hit here, breaks a tackle, and then finally gets wrapped up and brought down. But he's making an extra 4 or 5 yards after that initial contact.
First down and 10, twin receivers to the right. Maurice Bogard and Steve Davis. Twin tight ends. Good stutter step move again. Jeremy Presley. Look how he keeps his balance. Touchdown number 3 for number 30.
And he's up over 125 yards rushing after that. But again, 4 or 5 defenders that time got a piece of him, and he was not brought down. Now, granted, Presley does not give you a whole lot to hit. He's small and he's very compact. Watch this, though. There's one defender. He spins out of that, keeps going. 2, 3, spins and keeps going. 4, and he's in the end zone. That's just a nice job of running inside by Presley.
Tell you what, he may be smaller in height compared to other running backs, but I tell you, he's bigger and physical than his dimensions in the program. Trust me.
And you know what? He's the long snapper. I'm just looking at him. He's up there as the guy that's the long snapper for Big Red.
Sam Busick has done a good job handling the snap. The hold is good, and the kick is up and through. So the first possession of the second half, Steubenville marches down the field and scores again. Now it's time for the big game, big deal. If you're thinking Honda, think Impke Honda, where you can get a 2006 Honda Pilot for $26,600. Stop by Impke Honda on Sawmill Road in Columbus or call 888-214-3541.
And there's Coach Suckish. Coach Reno will call him. And he is coaching. I mean, he's up
coaching at the end of the
28-3.
first half, wasn't he?
He's calling timeouts and going over stuff. And Coach Reno, as they like to refer to him, always coaching.
Yep.
That's
still going, isn't it?
That's the way you build a program.
Both of us, Dave and I, had a chance to talk with him on the phone and a good visit with Coach Reno. Central Catholic came to play in the first quarter, but just could not capitalize a couple of times inside the 10. And this possession means everything for the guys in green. That's a nice little return. Max Kollner as he brings it across the 45 to midfield and out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So hopefully that'll pump up the Crusaders. They have scrimmaged in the middle of this football field time and time again in this ball game.
Just a nice job of following his blocking, forms a little wall there. He makes one guy miss, and up until then, it's the safety hanging back there, and making the play is Longmire, Darnell Longmire.
Well, the sophomore, Max Kollner, 5'7", 140. And the defense has been the key to this 8-0 and this 28 regular season win streak. And again, you see the defense getting it done. Ralph Petrella and company. What has this defense done, Dave Bacon, this year?
They're, what they have done is, they've held opponents to 72 yards rushing as a whole, and 22 sacks. So what that tells you is those front 7, front 8 guys are really dominating the point of attack. If you do that, you're going to win a lot of football games.
And unofficially 4 sacks here in this ball game.
And I like what Central Catholic's trying to do. They're trying to pop something quick to get a fullback into that second level of the defense, maybe get them through the linebackers and into the secondary. And there have been isolated plays where it's worked, but they haven't been able to do anything consistently.
And that's the thing. Like we said, they've been scrimmaging in the middle of the field. Have had excellent field position, had 2 turnovers, and came away with 3 points on those turnovers when they actually had it inside of the Big Red 10 a couple of times. Looking to throw, out of bounds and incomplete, as Joey Rhodes was looking for a couple of receivers here on the near side. And look at the toughness of number 30, Jeremy Presley, playing as a linebacker. And let's take a look at him.
A little bit of a play action. Big Red had 8 defenders within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
He actually got his hand on that, didn't he?
Yeah, but they were coming after the quarterback. 8 men within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
So Brent Crawford back to kick on 4th down. Steve Davis back deep. And he'll field it on the run at the 15. Is trying to pick up a block and then is tattooed.
And I believe it's Andrew Weber playing special teams that came up with a big hit.
The senior at 5'9", 185. Let's take this timeout. Steubenville 28-3 here in Canton. Well, they were also marked off a penalty as we went to break. And that's a fumble. Who's got it? And I believe the Crusaders do. They pick up turnover number 3. As I was telling you, as we went to break, there was a penalty, and they moved back on the block in the back. And now the Crusaders get the ball back.
John Friedman is the player that comes up with the loose football. And again, this is, this is the they need to take advantage of this. McGee just has the ball stripped right there by Tabar, the middle linebacker, and Friedman falls on it. Tabron, rather. George Tabron, the middle linebacker, got his big hand in there and ripped the ball free.
Also Brandon Jarrett there as well. Want to show our appreciation and thanks to all of our viewers across the state on Time Warner Digital Cable, Adelphia, and on Insight Communications. If you don't have O&N, hey, all you need to do is call your cable company and tell them you want O&N. Why? Because that's Ohio's channel for high school sports. First down and 10. Oh, nice tip there. I tell you, Draylon Free has played a whale of a ball game from his defensive end position because that swing pass, he was open.
You know what? He was thinking interception the whole way, too. He played off it and pushed back. Watch. He's at the top of the screen. Here he's blocked. He realizes, gets his hand up, and he's looking for the tip pass right there.
And I mean it. If they find Charles Salter in that far sideline, there was nobody there on that swing. So well defense by Draylon Free. Now the linebackers, are they coming? They look to be blitzing. Here they come on the run blitz. Nice move in the backfield by Salter as he buys himself a couple. He could have been hit in the backfield.
That was the same basic alignment they had. They're putting 8 men within 3 or 4 yards of the line of scrimmage, and basically they're saying you need to account for our guys. Try to beat us one-on-one, and so far the Crusaders haven't been able to deal with that.
Rain continues to come down. And actually, when you look at the numbers, the Crusaders have won the turnover margin. 1 interception that they've thrown that was as good as a punt. And that pass is complete inside the 10. And down to the 7-yard line, Mitchell Anderson.
Nice job of picking up a blitz by Salter that time. We've talked about the way he's run the ball. And really, his numbers running are pretty good. But take a look. They're coming on the blitz. Presley comes in, and he gets picked up and gets enough time to complete the pass to Mitchell Anderson.
Joey Rhodes, the quarterback. First down and goal. They've had 3 first down and goals in this ball game. Fake the belly. There's the pitch. Trying to bounce it outside. Nice spin move down to the 1. Charles Salter. And now it's going to be hard to hold the Crusaders out of the end zone.
Salter limping a little bit, but take a look at the sophomore here. Draws the defender Presley, pitches it, and that opens up a little bit of space for Salter. Nice spin move there, and he gets down to the 1. And Salter now with 78 yards rushing.
George Tabron back in as the middle back out of the full house backfield. He gets it, and he's in for a touchdown. So you go with the bigger back in the full house backfield, and for the first time tonight, the Crusaders cash in on the 3rd Steubenville turnover.
Tabron has played a heck of a game from his middle linebacker position. Right here, though, straight ahead, nice blocking, breaks the tackle there, and is able to get into the end zone.
How about fullback Marcelo Natali getting his white helmet into the chest of a red shirt. And a timeout on the field on the point after. Does Lowell Kleinfelder thinking about maybe going for 2? That's maybe what they're discussing. Let's go down to Emily Moore.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Anthony Forte, who is just a regular Big Red fan, but he hasn't missed a Steubenville football game since 1994. Anthony, obviously you know a bit about Steubenville football. Tell me about the current records Coach Reno holds.
Well, since he was hired in 1983, he won a state championship in '84. He had a state record of 13 straight appearances in the Ohio playoffs. He's also been to the state final several times, been runner-up, 3 or 4 times. He's just built a winning tradition, and not only on the field, but also in the classroom.
Right, and he's known to be a class act, right?
Oh, exactly. He's not about running up the score on other teams. He looks to rebuild, get kids ready for the following year. There's been several games in his career when they may be up several touchdowns, and they score again, and he doesn't even go for the extra point. They actually take a knee, not to score any more points.
That's so nice, and your fans travel well, too.
Oh, definitely. This is actually a smaller crowd for us tonight because our other hometown team, Steubenville Catholic Central, is also on the road this evening. But normally we'll bring anywhere from 3,000 fans to some of the playoff games and state final games. We've had as many as 7,000, 8,000 fans travel to the games.
Incredible. Anthony, good luck tonight. Thank you. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Emily Moore. 28-10 as the Crusaders cash in on the turnover. We move to action further in the third quarter at the 2:24 mark. As Steubenville, a couple of times, a couple of possessions have been deep in their own territory. The Crusaders defense has played well and were able to sustain a drive, punt it back to Big Red, and now Big Red for the second time in this half are scrimmaging deep in their own territory.
And that time the Presley was not able to break any of those tackles, and that first wave really held on to him. He kept going, but he didn't break free. It's got to be tough to play the drums in the rain, I'll tell you.
Oh, his hands cold with the rain. Oh, my. Because a wet 45 degrees or 40 degrees is colder than a dry 25, isn't it?
I would think so.
We've seen some tough running backs this year. I mean, you go to almost every game, we've had some tough running backs, whether it was at Walsh Jesuit or whether it was at St. X. But this guy I like a lot, Jeremy Presley at 5'6", 175, and he runs the ball like he's 6'2", 2 1/4. Look at those numbers there. 9 carries, 126 yards, and 3 TDs.
And all he gives you are a lot of shoulders and knees. There's not much there to hit. He's tough to get a hold of.
And he keeps the drive alive, now just over the 20-yard line. And this time it's Tamawi McGee. Want to show our appreciation and thanks to our viewers across the state on Time Warner Digital Cable, Philadelphia, and on Insight Communications. If you don't have O&N, Call your cable company and tell them you want O&N, because you know Ohio's channel for high school sports is right here on O&N. Absolutely. Second down 3, 28-10 in the cold rain, but Big Red playing like it's 80 degrees. Now we'll line up and go the other way. A little play fake, and we got a line of scrimmage penalty as we welcome you back to the start of the fourth quarter. Canton, Ohio, and Canton Central Catholic with a record of 6-2, taking on perennial power Steubenville Big Red at 8-0. I'm Eric Thacker along with Dave Bacon and Emily Moore. We saw Emily Moore's interview with one of the fans from Steubenville. This hasn't missed a game since 1994. And Emily Moore always finding people that have stats on everything.
Yeah, and a stat coach Reno isn't going to like. 6 penalties for 74 yards on Big Red. And
Well,
I think we found what he's going to harp on during the week of practice.
like you said, he'll always find something to coach on, right?
Yep.
Well, that's why you have winning programs. You don't get, what do we say, relaxed or
Complacent, yeah.
complacent.
Yep.
That's correct. Zach Caleras, quarterback draw. And George Tabron wraps him up for about 4 yards. And it's going to bring up fourth down, and the punting team is on.
Nice job of, there's Mitchell that gets a piece, Tabron, and just a good job by that
Christian
front
Frank.
7. Yeah. Yeah, Frank playing off the block and really shutting that down. And again, you know, if you're the Crusaders, you get a nice special teams play, you're right back in it.
Well, they have forced the last 3 possessions now, or the last 2 or 3 possessions. Steubenville has not been able to get a drive going. Good kick by Stephen Rose. And this is Mitchell Anderson. Nice little moves there. And he outruns a couple of red shirts, but can't outrun Steve Davis, who drags him down by the collar.
Still good field position at their own 45, and haven't really hit a big pass yet, and that's one of the things that they do. You know, they like to throw the ball deep with McBride.
And let's take a look at those third quarter numbers.
And there you see Steubenville, you know, 278 yards rushing without a doubt. You know, the story of the game, 330 total, and they've done a nice job of limiting Canton Central Catholic, just 118 yards of total offense.
McBride turns and hands off, nowhere to go, trying to bring it here to the near boundary is Salter. Good pursuit, and a gain of only about a half a yard, maybe 1.
And what they made him do is they made him try to run about 25 yards to gain a yard as they just kept stringing it out. Just a nice play by the Steubenville defense. We have a Crusader shaking up on the sideline there.
And while they're looking at him, well, they're not going to stop play because he's now off of the field of play. You talked about complacency and how Coach Reno likes to coach. The old Buckeye coach, Coach Woody Hayes, said, I don't want anybody to tell us we're good. I don't want anybody to say, hey, we don't need much to work on, or I'm going to kick them in the leg.
Right.
Second down and 8, or let's call it 9. McBride, too tall, as he was looking for Marcelo Natalie. It's time now to find out who is one step closer to winning a 2006 Honda Civic in the Emke Honda Big Game Giveaway. Our weekly winner for October 21st is Julie Browning of Grove City. Winners get a free oil change from Emke Northwest Honda and are entered into the drawing to win the 2006 Civic before the Division I State Championship game in December. To register, look for us at the next big game or stop by Emke Honda on Sawmill Road in Columbus.
Oh.
Pressure, and he's going to eat it.
Presley was coming, and also there's our
Each and
defensive end, Pre.
Each and every week, Grange Insurance will spotlight an outstanding high school insurance MVP. And we're not announcing it yet, but I think Jeremy Presley playing both ways and getting a sack and 3 touchdowns, well, that's going to be hard to beat.
And nice job of he just beat he beat McBride back to where he wanted to set up and make his drop.
And once again, after good field position, the Crusaders can't do anything with it. And another line drive punt. And here comes Matt Belladine.
Good coverage by the Crusaders.
And nothing on the return, maybe a yard, and that's all. 9:41 left, fourth quarter, 28-10. And Big Red has played tough defense when they had to. The Crusaders, if you're just joining us, had chances. 3 turnovers, so they're +2 in this game. Only turned it over once. And that was more like a deep pass punt that Darnell Longmire intercepted inside the 10, but they could not capitalize on good field position. They credit the outstanding defense of Big Red, and Dave Bacon said that could be the true key to this team's reason why they're 8-0. Look out. Maui McGee.
And again, their running backs do a nice job of not being brought down by that initial contact. And you're going to have to bring 2, 3, 4 defenders to stop either one of these backs. And there you see McGee, nice blocking, and spins out of the first one and just loses his balance. But he picked up another 6, 7 yards after that initial hit. And that adds up. Aside from wearing a defense down, it gets demoralizing for him because you're putting good hits on him and you're just not bringing them down.
McGee, another big hole. 10. Now they cheated him. They gave him 9.
I tell you what.
Or we gave him too much.
That offensive line is really doing a nice job.
Yeah, no doubt. They have been superb tonight. Petrella, Magnone. Who else was there? Michael Snyder. Yep.
McGee now 10 carries. And
Sean Campbell and Gilmore.
86 yards rushing, so well over 200 yards rushing the ball for the 2 featured backs for Big Red.
Pro set eye, 2nd down and 1. Good pressure, but he avoids George Tabron's run blitz, and he'll get the first down. Defensively, I like number 45 for Canton Central Catholic.
Yeah, he's been in the backfield quite a bit. And there you see he kind of knifed through and picked the wrong hole.
Right.
But you know what? When you're a middle linebacker, that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to disrupt things, and occasionally you aren't going to go to the right hole.
He went through the B gap instead of the A gap.
And he's had a heck of a game.
Yes, he has. 18-point lead, 1st down and 10. Oh, nice stop. Christian Frank.
Tabron in on that too.
A couple of tackles, and yep, you said he's around the football all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, and for a middle linebacker, that's exactly what you want.
Saw one last week, didn't we?
Yes,
Cold
we
water.
did.
Ross Holman. Oh, buddy, to the Buckeyes got one there. Yeah, they were talking about that for weeks. They got on J.J. Huddle's message boards, and he had a couple of threads. We're maxed out on that fine linebacker from Coldwater. What a game that was last week if you joined us. That was a dandy, them and Versailles. Both teams are probably going to represent Division 4 and Division 5. And we'll take a timeout. There's a flag back. We'll tell you what the flag's about when we return. 28-10. Steubenville has the lead, and the line of scrimmage penalty there brings it back 5, 2nd down and 15. Now they're scrimmaging from the 39 of the Crusaders. So Caleros, was he trying to set up a screen? Well, guess what? Who's on his tail? Tabron. And now Crawford giving chase, and Crawford will run him out of bounds on that far boundary. So defensively, Canton Central not quitting.
No, they've done. By and large, they've done a pretty good job. They've been killed by big plays, big runs in particular.
Coach Reno's still getting after it, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, if your demeanor is like that, what you've taught your kids without telling them anything is, doesn't matter the score, you play till the final gun. And you can say that, but if you coach that way, it's a lot more effective than just saying it.
Jeremy Presley now back in as the lone tailback. You see number 30 there. He's going to get the carry. And again, he's just a tough runner.
He is. There was a guy in the 70s for the Dolphins, Norm Bulash, who was built like him. All shoulders and legs. And you just don't have anything to hit with them.
Now, how would you know that?
How
How would you remember
I watched
that?
a lot of football as a little kid.
Well, Dave, you know the game quite well. Yeah, you see it. And we like working with you and giving us all the insight. Timeout on the field, and it's Big Red taking the timeout. And we'll take it with them. 28-10 in a raining Canton, Ohio. Well, a rainy Canton, Ohio. 6:41 left, 28-10. And Big Red via the rush with Jeremy Presley. And Tamawi McGee has been the story in this one, along with big defense. But now Caleros trying to showcase himself a little bit. Incomplete. Good coverage. Matt Johnson.
Yeah, nice job of recovering. There was some separation there, and when the ball went up, Johnson did a nice job of closing and breaking that up.
Johnson with an interception tonight for Canton Central Catholic. That coming in the first quarter when it looked like they had a chance to get into this thing. His offensive numbers you see there. Plays both ways for the Crusaders. Kyle McBride back in at quarterback. Nope, check that. That's Joey Rhodes. Rhodes' throw. It's complete. Far side. Anderson. And that's close to first down yardage. About 8.5 yards. Or give him 8. Clock stopped on the out route as he goes out of bounds with 6:30 left. And if they're going to get back in it, it's this possession that they're going to have to get it started with.
Yeah, they need some points on the board in a hurry.
Twins to the bottom of your screen. Rhodes, there's the belly give, and that works big. Marcelo Natale for his second carry only tonight, but a very important one is now they're scrimmaging inside of Steubenville territory.
Take a look at this. Almost looks like he reaches around inside and hands it off, and he did. He was actually behind Natale when he handed him the ball. And that's one way to get your back through the hole quicker.
Ooh.
It was like a little wraparound.
Matt Bellardine came in with a shot, didn't he?
Yes, he
At
did.
the end of the play, but double tight ends now. Or nope, one tight end.
Oh,
And that pass just kind of fluttered, didn't it?
there's Bellardine again. DBs like to come up and hit.
Let's get his dimensions. 5'8", 190. So that's some pop at 5'8" at 190. Let's take a look again.
Perfect timing,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Second down and 10. Do the linebackers come? Yep. Breaking a tackle for a minute. Anderson this time in the backfield.
That was another inside handoff there to Natale, I believe. And they've had some success running the fullback up in there.
No, it is Natale. I thought they put Anderson and snuck him back there.
They're just trying to get him through that hole a little bit quicker. And Natale's another sophomore. So you've got Natale and he now has 42 yards, 6 carries. But Rhodes and Natale are both sophomores. So you've got the makings of a very nice backfield for the Crusaders here for the years to come.
Well, this county would rival any county in the country, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of quality of football.
Absolutely.
Just with the programs all over. Option and Rhodes, he is the option runner, and he's going to be stopped after only a gain of about a yard.
Yeah, he looked a little bit at the defense there and didn't like his options because this was shut down and he had somebody closing from the backside. I believe it's McGee and Demetrius Benjamin coming and doing a nice job of running that down. They'll go for it on 4th and 3rd here.
And Darryl Longmire giving chase as well. 4th down and 3. Belly give, second effort, first down. And again now, Natale on his 4th carry keeps the drive alive.
Yeah, Natale has done a nice job of moving the chains on this drive in particular. They're just getting him into that second level of defense, the linebackers, quickly.
Now, Coach Reno has substituted with his second string defense.
Right.
Now in the ball game for Big Red. Good protection. Middle pass complete. That's for 9. On the curl route in the middle of the zone, Anderson.
Anderson just did a nice job of finding a soft spot there, kind of losing himself amongst the defenders and getting into the middle there.
This time they haven't had much time in the pocket in this ball game. That time they did. 2nd down and 1. Again, belly give down inside the 15 to the 12. So now the fullback, Marcelo Natale, the sophomore at 165 pounds, playing bigger than that.
Nice tackle by Sam Busick. Came up from his safety spot to make the hit. There you see just a nice hole, and Busick comes up and makes the tackle. As you mentioned, many of the second teamers are in there at this point.
Deep pitch, nice job of securing the football by Max Colliner.
Then an open field tackle by Busick again. As he played that about as well as you can play a guy getting a pitch. Kind of broke him down in the open field and made sure he wasn't going to get any extra yardage.
Now we can't speculate because of the pairings for the playoffs, which you can catch, by the way, on ONN on our pairing show, October 30th. But you kind of wonder if Canton Central Catholic, and it looks like they may drop this game, but inside the 5. Don't tell that to Natale as he's in for the touchdown.
Nice tough run by Marcelo Natale, the sophomore, as got hit, just kept moving, and nice drive. Nice drive for the Crusaders. Yeah, they're gonna need a little bit of
help.
work. Yeah, you never know. They have some nice wins. They beat Perry, who's a Division I school, in overtime. That'll
get some
help.
points for that.
Yeah.
Right.
66 yards and a touchdown on 9 rushes for Natale. Point after, no good.
And with that next extra point, 28-16, our new score. We'll continue with our thoughts about the playoffs when we return. Onside kick coming by Kyle McBride. So what you want to do here, one bounce and then the second bounce goes straight up in the air. There's the first one, the second one to perfection. Who comes up with it? And they say Big Red has the football. But credit Kyle McBride, that was a perfect onside kick. The result may not be what they wanted, but that's an end-over-end kick. One bounce, and then the second bounce shoots straight up.
And Busick recovered it. Got it played in the secondary for him. A nice job of getting around the ball and covering it up.
It's an annual tradition that plays out October 30th at noon. Ohio's best high school football teams find out live on ONN who they'll play in the postseason. Join us to watch their brackets and pairings and the announcements live. Teams, players, coaches, and fans, you're all invited. Live from MK Honda on Sawmill Road in Columbus. Food, football, and loads of fun.
And Big Red won't have to be traveling. They'll be hosting a first-round game. They're first in their region, and they'll certainly be one of the top 4, and they will be hosting a first-round game. Canton Central Catholic will need to win next week, finish 7-3, and they'll have to get a little bit of help. They were 7th in Division 4 Region 13 coming into tonight, so they need to win and get a little bit of help.
Yep. New quarterback and new receivers in the ball game for Big Red now. As you take a look for the first time tonight, number 32, and that is Anthony Jackson, the sophomore at 5'8", 160. As we wind down the regular season now here on the Army National Guard Big Game of the Week on ONN, let's talk about a couple of the teams that we have seen this year that may, make a lot of noise, especially last week, no doubt, Versailles and Coldwater. We opened up this Army National Guard season with Cleveland Glenville and Menor, and Glenville was solid, speed and good defense. X looking very solid as well.
Yeah, those are two really good Division I teams. That'll be an interest if they can make it through their regions, which isn't going to be easy.
Right.
That'll be an interesting matchup. It really will.
Nice defense by the Crusaders, and let's see who comes off the pile with that one. Number 33 is John Friedman. Next week's game, a battle of unbeatens, New Albany at Licking Valley. And they're both ranked in the top 5, aren't
Right.
they?
Yeah, and that's in the, Steubenville's ranked number 1. Those are both Division III teams. So I imagine Big Red might be a little interested
Interested
to
in
see
watching
what
that,
what happens there.
So that could tell the story of that one. Another team that we've seen this year, Dave Bacon, Columbus Watterson.
Yeah,
Just come
they'll
out
be
there,
interested.
yeah.
They're, they play a tough schedule, and that's the one thing.
Moved up, right, this year?
That's the one thing. The teams that play the tough schedules are the ones that generally survive because, they're used to those games. It's just like they've gone through for 7 of their 10 weeks.
Another team, Toledo St. John's.
Yeah, they've done very
nice this year.
Yep. We saw their quarterback in week 2.
Right.
Had a nice performance and
against DeSales. Congratulations, no doubt about it. That was an easy one to figure out. You didn't have to scratch your head and go, Presley, sacks, TDs galore, electric running, highlight films. Congratulations, Jeremy Presley. You are our Grange Insurance MVP.
Over 130 yards, 3 touchdowns, and will be an interesting run. It'll probably name another one of the ranked teams in Division III, so you want to check out the highlights of that one.
Good rush there. And now with 1 minute and 13 seconds. And we'll take this break, and we'll come back to close this one out. 28-16, Steubenville. 28-16, Steubenville trying to go 9-0. Looks like they're going to do that and win their 29th regular season game. This all started back in when, Dave? 2003.
Yeah, they're
and that pass incomplete.
Yeah, 29 regular season games in a row.
And the teams that they've lost to in the playoffs are the ones that won the state title.
Yeah.
So that tells you something.
Penalty on the play declined. Right now the concern is the minute 8.
Right, that's the enemy. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but the Crusaders at 6-2, they came to play. I mean,
Yeah.
they did play. You take away a couple of big runs by Big Red, capitalize on first down and goal for the Crusaders, and you know what? This could have been a different ball game.
Oh,
that was
miscommunication there.
Yep, on the out route and defending there was number 46, and that's Anthony Lacini, the junior at 5'6", 125 pounds. The clock stopped, minute 5. Again, like to thank everybody and all of our camera guys and everybody else involved with our broadcast, battling their first cold, wet night of the year. McBride. And
well,
did he come down with that?
Sure
He
did.
wasn't the intended receiver, but somehow the football found Mitchell Anderson. And for first down yardage. Well, sometimes it works out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, fall is here, definitely.
Yeah, and probably here to stay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm already wanting some Indian summer. Come on! And out route complete, Anderson here on the near side. You know, I love football all season, no doubt about that. It's my favorite time of the year, but that doesn't mean that I like, you know, what comes with it late in the season. Rob Hoagland on the far side. The top part of your screen. Good protection. McBride, and his pass again. High for Anderson.
So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 2, and pick up a couple first downs, maybe take a shot in the end zone.
Right, absolutely. You know, there have been chances. So I think, you know, does Coach Kleinfelder come out of this game and say, you know, you don't want to sugarcoat anything. You know you're going to be down. If, you know, after a loss pressure. Oh, nice move there by McBride to stay alive in the pocket. Open receiver. And that's first down. Marcelo Natale. I do believe. Or no, that's Anderson. Okay, I was going to say to the fullback. Come out of the backfield.
Did a nice job of losing himself behind the defenders, and there you see McBride shook off a defender and throws it. And again, a lot of the Steubenville second-team defense is now in, but
looking for the slant.
if you're Coach Kleinfelter, the thing you like is your guys are still going at it, and, and they have all night long, and that's what you ask for when you're going against a number 1 ranked team. No matter what happens, give me your all-out effort, and he's really got that.
And they put a touchdown here, and
yeah.
and then the scoreboard looks 28-23. And it shows a respectable game. Blitz coming. McBride fumbles the football, and Big Red gets it back.
Good aggressive play. I think the guy that caused that fumble was Moxley, Zane Moxley.
So now all Big Red has to do is take a knee, and that'll be it. And we did enjoy coming to Canton and Central Catholic. Nice facility, great people. And how about the Big Red Steubenville fans? I need to applaud them making the road trip in this weather, still supporting their team on the road. That's a pleasing sight to these eyes, I tell you.
Yeah, they travel well. I remember in a couple of the state championship games where that entire side is filled up in Massillon for them.
Well, you see now that was filled to almost capacity, folks, earlier, but you want to get home early weather like this, and, game already.
Well, you want to get home and see the game.
There you go, yes. And if you can't catch it tonight, catch it on our replay tomorrow. Stay with us. Rage Insurance Sports Sites next. All the scores and highlights from across the state. Dandy Crow, Dave Jadowski. We say so long, everybody. Steubenville looking big with Big Red. 28-16 over Canton. Good night.
Ready, break.